So in 2015, police were told that I was getting harassed by Stephanie DeSalis. So the stuff across social media said about me that wasn't true. I got stalked and harassed by Stephanie DeSalis, Brett Aikenhead, friends of Brett Aikenhead's, family members of Brett Aikenhead's, some Aboriginal guy, Spencer, and his sister down in Rushco's Bay Park. And then by the time I got harassed by Peter Fry in 2016 when I was walking my dog around Reg Oval side of Rushco's Bay Park, I thought that's fucking it. So let's go back to this. I brought my dog from Brett Aikenhead. He was this junkie abo nurse. And I brought an English Bull Terrier. I know the breed really, really well of an English Bull Terrier. Brett Aikenhead didn't. He only ever had a standard poodle before this dog, and he actually sold the standard poodle to an ex-boyfriend of his, who's another ICE user. He was this guy called Shane, who lived around a corner from where Brett's was. So Brett was in Gibbs Street, and this guy, Shane, was around a corner in Whitehorse Lane. And I think his dog was called Semi or something. It was just a standard poodle. So looking at the situation, and I'd already been looking at English Bull Terriers in the past. Actually, funny enough, even in 2012, we were staying at the Holiday House, which is my Nan and Pop's house. But when Nan passed away in 2007, we kept it on as a holiday house at Long Beach, and Nan's statue of the English Bull Terrier. I was watching that and cleaning it, putting it back on the TV in 2012, and I said to my partner, Giovanni, Gio, so that's the one I keep talking about. You know, they're great apartment dogs, blah, blah. So I can actually really give a good timeline, because I brought it up with Giovanni in 2012 saying, when we get settled back in the city, I want to get an English Bull Terrier because I like bigger dogs. And these guys are bred for city living. They're bred for apartments. So they don't need, that's what they do. And he didn't want to walk today. So they don't need much walk. I know the breed really well. Having dogs and other breeds of dogs growing up and having other terriers growing up, I know the breed really well. I had fox terriers, which need more exercise. So these are great. Fox terriers are working dogs or rodent dogs, where English Bull Terriers are little punsy dog. Oh, you little cutie. They're little pub dogs. They're little stroll London dogs. So they don't need too much. The English Bull Terrier is bred from the Bulldog, English Bulldog, and the English Terrier, two inside dogs. And you know what people make up when it comes to this breed of dog, I'm like, no, you were talking about an American Bull Terrier or a Pit Bull Terrier. This is an English Bull Terrier, completely different breed. You don't know what you're talking about. And I've had these discussions so many times with people saying, you were talking about another breed of dog. The English Bull Terriers are known to not have any endurance. They're playful, but don't try and take them on long walks. You'll screw their knees up. They are prone to have knee problem and hip problems. You're going to screw their knees up if you take them on long walks. They're going to, if they don't have laxating patellas, they will develop laxating patellas from it. I mean, it goes the reason if you've got something that's going to always have joint problem, hip problem, and so forth, more endurance is going to screw it up. So don't damage the dog. Plus, they're allergic to grass and follicle infections and so forth. They get allergies from the outdoors. Quite easy. They were bred to be a London dog in the 1830s. They're bred to be a city dog. I know this breeded dog more than most people because I've been researching it for years. I had terriers growing up. I've had family members that had pit bull terriers growing up. I've had family members that have other dogs. I had terriers. I know the breed of dog really well. So this guy who happened to be an Aboriginal nurse, ICE user, Brett Aikenhead, was selling a dog. His house in Gibbs Street in Newtown was a revolving door of drug dealers and drug addicts. So I'm glad I brought the dog in April 2015. And the negotiation was, so Brett said, don't transfer the money yet. And so, because he was going to buy, he kept saying a female brindle bull terrier. I'm like, okay, you're looking at an American bull terrier because no English bull terrier was brindle. The English bull terriers were only bred white. So already he was getting another dog that was another breed. I'm like, so their female brindle bull terriers are American, which breeds all the problems out. They've got more endurance, they're more energetic. You take them for jogs. They don't get the skin problems, they don't get the breathing problems because the English bull terrier gets skin, breathing, allergy, hip, knee problems, joint problems, skin infections, and heart problems. That's what the English Bull Terriers do. The American Bull Terrier bred all that out. The American Bull Terrier are stockier. They look more like they've got a stuffy, stuffy look in them. Squarer face instead of a thin face. and a brindle is a definitely American Bull Terrier. So what he said was this Brett Aikenhead, who's a Aboriginal drug using nurse, so a crystal meth using nurse. He said, don't transfer the money until I find this, this other dog, then transfer it, otherwise I'll spend it on drugs. That's what he said. I was like, oh, real great guy. The only stupid mistake I did was actually have sex with this guy, but I'm like homosexual. Like, that should make any difference. Like, I never dated the guy. I made this very clear. I was on a break on my relationship with Giovanni Consalvo, my ex-partner. And even during that time, my Aunt Linda and Uncle Tony can confirm, because we were having dinner at in Parramatta, Parramatta areas where they were living before they moved down south. And they asked, I said, look, what's going on? I said, Giovanni and myself went over and said, what's going on? I said, nothing. I said, I'm on a break. And Giovanni was crying to Uncle and Auntie. He was so upset. And I said, I want a break. And for reasons that I've discussed with Giovanni. And they then instantly jumped in and said, this isn't because you've found someone else. I'm like, oh God, no. No way. I said, I don't want another relationship. No. I'm not looking for a relationship. It's nothing to do with me going off to be with someone else. No. If I was going to have a relationship, I would fix my relationship with Giovanni. And they're like, oh, good. Okay. So I'm like, I can work on that. I said, no, if I'm having a relationship, I would not go with anyone new. I would fix what's going on with me and Giovanni. And my uncle, and that's the thing. So people who can confirm that is my Uncle Tony and Auntie Linda, because I never said anything about dating anyone else. So I was just having some single fun, basically having sex with complete strangers. But this Brett Aikenhead, so when I finally, should never have had sex with a guy. Oh, God, yuck. Anyway, it makes me want to vomit. Anyway, so come October 2015, and I had found another fuck buddy fling to have sex with this Brazilian guy, Michael, because these were just fuck buddy flings, nothing serious. It was just sex. It wasn't serious. There's no relationship. It's just sex. Not friends with them, nothing more than this is someone you go and visit for sex. So these people are nothing more than free prostitutes to me, because it's nothing more than just sex. So it's nothing more than a free prostitute. So that's it. Nothing more. So Brett found out, and because I told Brett several times to fuck off, that's it, type thing. And I've got recordings of him and voice recordings and so forth, which I gave to Newtown Police, where he was begging me to come over and he's crying, all this bullshit. And then he assaulted me. So under the influence of crystal meth, he assaulted me. Right. That was in October 2015. Now, we had a negotiation already with my dog that I brought from him, and then he was arrested for assaulting me. Police then asked me about, well, do you know his affiliates? And I'm like, funny enough, this is what I found out from him. There's some person, Jackie, who's in Jackie and Kaiser, friends of his, Jackie and Kaiser, and they live in, where was it? Cremorne or somewhere, or somewhere like that, or, I don't know, over the north side. And so I was giving all the information that I found out through Brett, what Brett had told me, since I met him in April 2015. And then Brett finds out, because they subpoenaed me to show up in court. And Brett finds out, and he goes, you're not going to show up in court, because he goes, you told him all my friends' names. I'm like, they asked. And then it went from that to he was going to destroy my credibility, to discredit me so I won't turn up. Well, basically, so I won't believe if I turn up to court. That's what he said he was going to do. And I'm laughing about it at first. And he goes, he was going to get his brother Shane Aikenhead, who apparently has got all these connections. I'm like, the guy's a houso guy in Canberra. He's going to get his father, Wayne Aikenhead, who lives in Brisbane. And he says something about the War Veteran Society is going to come after him. I'm like, excuse me, my family, I've got war veterans right through my family. I said, I doubt some society is going to come after me, Brett, you weirdo. Like, it was just a friggin', that's right. his cousin in Brisbane, whose Aboriginal cousin, is a police detective or police investigator, and my life's going to be ruined. That's what he was saying. He's going to get the Aboriginal society. There's going to be the nursing industry and all this bullshit. And I'm at first going, this guy's a weirdo. So unless I drop the charges, I've got him recorded. I've actually got him recorded saying this. Hang on, let me bring up the recording, because every time I do this, let me close the windows. I've got him recorded saying this as well, that he was going to go after me with all of these organisations and discredit me, and then, you know, you've just been an arsehole. And I laughed about it at first and thought, what a fucking weirdo. Anyway, and then as for the dog, so I transferred the money. So the paperwork for my dog Baxter was transferred in my name from Brett on the 5th of December in 2015, and the money was transferred into Brett's account from my ANZ account into Brett's account. $2,000 payment for my dog in December 2015. So the lies that went across social media were exactly that. It was just lies, but Stephanie DeSalis jumped onto it. So Stephanie DeSalis jumped onto this and started involving herself. And I've called police since 2015 and said, this is what she did. They didn't even arrest her. I'm like, but she's not a friend of mine. She's stalking social media. She's been told about this behaviour in the past. So she's stalking social media. I ring up the police regarding Stephanie DeSalis. I ring up regarding organisations. I ring up regarding Brett Aikenhead. Continuously since 2015, I ring Newtown Police. And here I've got, hang on, where have I saved it? I've saved it somewhere because I was clogging up. So to do with, let me see, it might be on this account. With Brett threatening me, saying, get the charges dropped, you know, basically, or he's going to damage my credibility. And he did. He actually set out, and I'm like, this is ridiculous, to damage someone's credibility the way he did. And it's because of, well, look, I think he's the entitled Aboriginal, to be honest. He's basically used organisations and people, and police didn't arrest him. Has not charged him. I've got it somewhere. Let me, before this gets clogged up. Where is it? So yeah, so that's how this Peter Fry in 2016, I'm walking my dog around Rushcutters Bay Park Ridge Overside. This Peter Fry approaches me and says he's a friend of Brett Aikenhead's, and I was like, oh, that's fucking it. Now I've had enough. So this guy obviously had known who I was, what the dog looked like, and he's hanging around where I'd walked my dog. And I was like, no, that's it. Now I've had enough. Police won't arrest these people, so then I'm going to set out to catch them out myself. And I did. So trying to perform entrapment on Stephanie DeSalis. Here we go. Okay, I've got it here saved. So hang on, if it comes up. Recording coming up is around. Well, it's after Christmas. It was well after Christmas. Junkie. 15, I still have. This guy kept of crystal to me. So I gave them. So I've saved all the notes on video. Destroy my proposal. This one here is of Brett Aikenhead threatening me. So he was threatening me. Here. This is in the end of December. So he was. 2016. Hear it. Yeah.
The charges are she knows she's never been arrested. And I want that bitch to retract the comments that she made to the fucking missing registration board, which are lies. So you're saying that the police officers never met them? You said you don't use it in Africa, and I do not use it at work, which is what they said. Okay, lies. Listen to every word. No, every second makes sense. Every second makes sense. Yes. Okay? And you know what? I'm not going to use it within 5 days of going to work. It takes 3 days to get everything. 5 days of going to work. Yes, it takes 3 days.
So that's me saying within 5 days of going to work. So I knew, so I had my dictaphone there. I was recording him. I did the same to everybody since I was lied about in 2015. And I had the dictaphone in my pocket, recording him to try and catch him out because he was involved in the nursing registration board. All these people, they try and discredit me, all because he got arrested for assaulting me, and that's the thing, because he got arrested for assaulting me under influence, and police have that down. He was going to lose his nursing license or something to do with it. And so I had him recorded, and police received several calls from me in 2015 and 2016 and so forth. They didn't arrest these people. I'm like, all right, Stephanie DeSalis is not a friend. She just popped her head up again in 2015 across social media after this guy had said some bullshit across me over social media. She was told to fuck off and mind her own business, as she has stalked me in the past. So Stephanie DeSalis had already stalked me in the past, and in 2006, and Newtown Police was told this because I was meant to be going to court to give a statement about Brett Aikenhead's behaviour. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to turn up to court unless you start arresting these people. And they're like, well, unless they assault you. I'm like, that's it? Fine, I'll take the law into my own hands and I'll go out and record them and get them doing something criminal. If you're not going to do your job and I've got to do it for you, then I'll do your job for you. So basically, in 2006, after Stephanie's behaviour, we're not friends. In 2006, Stephanie DeSalis was told to fuck off, never show your face again. Otherwise, my partner back then, John Cabino, and myself, were going to press criminal charges. Like, don't you ever... Like, I was talking to her one day in a coffee shop because I was introduced to her, and then she started stalking me. And she did. By July 2005, I would avoid that coffee shop so I didn't run into her. She was a nut job. Then she, in 2006, she was told to fuck off. Then she pops her head up in 2015 and was like, oh, I'm sticking up for Brett and whatever. And it's like, okay, don't care. So this happened. So I actually got them recorded. And actually, I was talking about in the start of this video regarding, if it's still here, Brett crying. Here it is here. Okay, so I've got it saved. So I've got them on online storage drive saved. Hang on. This is it. Brett crying, begging me. Okay, I'm just going to hang on. Play recording with you. I got accused. No, hang on. So he was begging me to go out with him. I'm like, no. Begging me to go out with him. I've said this, and there's no fucking way. It was just some loser crying, begging me to go out with him. It's going to come up. I've said this. And there's no fucking way. It was just some loser that I brought my dog from and had a brief sexual encounter with. That was it. He was like a free prostitute. But listen. So I've saved everything. That's Brett Aikenhead. So that's Brett Aikenhead. If anyone was having a psychotic breakdown, it was fucking Brett Aikenhead. And I'm like, no, you're a free prostitute. Well, that's all he was to me, was a free prostitute. And I kept saying to him, I was like, oh my God, I had to keep saying, can you stop telling people, like, he goes, oh, you're my boyfriend. I'm like, no, my long-term partner's still in my apartment. I'm on a break. We just had, like myself and Giovanni just had Easter together with my family. We're having a break. Okay, if I was going to have a relationship, if I was going to, be anything other than single, I would be working things out with my ex, like, the guy I'm on a break with. Hang on, he kept going, hang on. Bullshit. Police just don't want to. And that's the thing, police were told this already and they had their own bullshit. And it's like, but you've been told how many times these people are harassing me? Hang on, let me go. And since 2015, I've kept notes here. Yeah, I've got enough. There's a few on this one I've saved. Here's another message after this one. Yeah. Hang on. That's what I can hear. That's what he was doing. He was just leaving these weird messages on my answer machine, crying. Like, that's him. Like, I've got all these saved, and he was just like doing shit like this. and this guy was not well, for starters, he was just somebody that you would visit for sex, so that makes him a free prostitute. Never dated. I only met him in April 2015. I told him to fuck off in October 2015. I brought my dog from him, and all because he was arrested for assaulting me, and he was arrested for assaulting me, and then it came out his drug use and so forth, and he was going to lose his nursing license, he said, or something like this, and I'm like, well, good, because no one wants to be, well, I definitely don't want to be dealing with a nurse that's got drug issues. Thank you very much. And he set out, because basically I was subpoenaed to go to court in 2016 and give evidence against him. And he continuously set out, he went across social media. He lied about me. He said he was going to use these people, these organizations. I had that harassment from Stephanie DeSalis, harassment from Peter Fry, which I'm really hoping I've got enough information there to get the guy arrested. Oh yeah, God, I was like, fuck this. It was all going across social media. So I was like, right, if it's going to go across social media, then watch what I can do too. Because basically, you want the facts, then go and meet someone for fucking coffee. Seriously, the facts aren't going to find them on social media. Only some dumb dog shit idiot gets their information from social media. An intelligent person goes to the source themselves or looks at the facts. I've got a social media account that's completely accurate for every detail, timeline, event, where I lived, everything, and there's no friends and followers on it, because the simple fact is that there's all accurate information. So I don't put any friends and followers on that social media account, because there's too much accurate information. But I use it as online storage to go, so if I'm out in public, I can pull up a document or pull up something I need without having to pay for online storage. That's why I use it. So I'm using a social media account, a Facebook account, with no friends, no followers on it, but I'm basically using it as free online storage. So I can save folders, partition folders into family documents, my documents, photos, videos, and so forth. And it's an online photo album that's basically free. That's all I'm using it for. That's why there is no friends and no followers on it, and that's why there would never be any friends or followers on that account, because there's all my information on it. So it's got family, it's got who I'm related to, it's family heritage, history, everything. So there will never, ever be any friends and followers on it, because it's so accurate to do with my entire life that I don't want people knowing the information. But if I'm sitting down having coffee with someone, I'm like, oh, well, actually, I've got this. I can show you this video footage here. Or there's my apartment where I was living in 2006. Or there's a Christmas party in 2008. And I've got it there in the folders. So it doesn't clog up storage anywhere, because it's on the Facebook storage, basically. That's it. So, yeah. So this is what actually went on. And police have been called consistently until it was like, okay, this is ridiculous. If you're not going to arrest these people for stalking, harassment, prying, privacy laws broken, monitoring, surveillance, they've involved organisations that should be up on criminal charges. This is damaging to my life. It is criminal defamation. It's like, well, what's criminal defamation? Like, go and research the laws in New South Wales. Criminal defamation is exactly what I'm going through, and you have the power as a police officer to go and press charges against these people as criminal defamation. It doesn't have to go through civil. As a police officer, you can say, okay, this has damaged Dustin's life enough. It's criminal defamation. We're going to charge it. It's almost like an assault charge. You can charge these people under criminal defamation. You have the power to do that. You have the power to charge these people for breaking privacy laws, confidentiality laws, and prying laws. Prying laws is basically being in my environment of a social life, living home environment, or work life with the intention to pry on my life. So that's basically if someone comes into my area of residence, work, social life, with the intent to monitor and surveillance, and that's another law. Police have the power to go and arrest them. I've been telling them this since 2015 when all the trouble started. They have the power to go and press criminal charges. They were told this even though they've stood back and they just want to focus on assault or voice message assault. It's like, well, I'm leaving a voice message now to make sure these people don't come anywhere near me, because you can't arrest them. Because I have got years of notes, years and years and years of diary notes in storage, years and years of diary notes even, like, let me show you this year, where I have kept every single conversation I've had with police. So I can go to court and say, okay, but police were called about Mind Dog at this time. Police were called about Stephanie DeSalis. Police have been called here. Police have been called here. Police have been called here. So I have backed myself up with evidence after evidence after evidence that I have spoken to police, but for 9 years they have not pressed charges when I'm the victim, not the other person. And then what I did, I went out and I was like, okay, I've got my documents that are going to go through the Department of Foreign Affairs. So what is police going to do then when all my medical documents go through Department of Foreign Affairs and gets investigated? Because that's going to prove what I'm saying is the truth. So when I've said, okay, I was mugged after work, which everyone knows I was mugged and robbed after work, when you've got a Mind Dog organisation that's promoting people that use drugs. And then I said out, and I've taken photos of this in public areas of these people. So I don't want these people near me and all the organisation. And if you've been already told that here's the organisation's behaviour, then I've kept other notes as well on people, such as Belinda Jeffries and so forth, and I've kept diary notes on them. I mean, here we have here, and so forth. And I've done this since I was lied about in 2015. Here we have here. Okay, so there is so many evidence. So when it comes to court, I can back up that I have got 9 years of evidence of myself calling, emailing, and contacting police over a certain group of people that they were meant to and should have arrested for unwanted behaviour, and even here. So like I can go through, so I do this all the time, and here's more. Like I said, I mean, you've got so much evidence of me ringing police, times, dates, who I spoke to over 9 years. So when it does go, and remember, I was mugged and robbed on my way home from work. I had an injury, and you're letting criminals harass someone with a disability. So New South Wales Police are letting people, look, there's more. There's more. I have got, like in the last year, you should see how many times I've rang the police over people in the area I live, including a lady down the street. Here, there's more here. Oh, there's more here. In this plate. So this is just the main. You wait till we get further. Oh, here we go, more. So I have kept a long history record of ringing police, complaining about harassment, and certain people, groups, and organisations. So I was told, as long as I've got history of it, so when it goes to court, you didn't arrest these people, and your job is to arrest them. And you've allowed them to do this now since 2015. That's not one. Oh, here's more. More and more. Actually, it's got personal information. I won't show that one. To with me, birthdays and marriages. That's passport photos. And okay, more. Waverley, please. So I have got information that backs up, but you guys are well aware that I was getting harassed by people, groups, and organisations. You've been told consistently. So then you've turned around to them and said, oh, but you've left an abusive message on that answer machine. I'm like, yes. But let's go back to the 30 times this year that you were called over that person coming into my area of residence. Shall we? So you're a police officer, and under the Law Enforcement Conduct Commission, you didn't do your job. You didn't arrest those people under what your job is, entailed. Again here, made statements. What about all the emails I sent into you with the documents of harassment, or when I went to police standards and it's been escalated further to the Law Enforcement Conduct Commission? So that's, I've kept notes, I've kept backup, when it comes to people that are affiliated with even Stephanie DeSalis, Brett Aikenhead, groups and organisations, I have backed myself up since 2015 to date, even including when I was harassed in the US. I spoke to a solicitor in America in relation to Stephanie DeSalis. So in the US, I spoke to Attorney Adler in Hartford, Connecticut, in relation to Stephanie DeSalis, and now she's harassing me in America. And I did. So I actually went and spoke to a solicitor there, and he said, she's not in the US, we can't do anything, go back to Sydney in charge of there. So, okay. So now I've kept this since 2015. So Police didn't arrest her, and she stalked my area of residence, came into where I live. Also, police have information from people from Tamworth, such as Deb Mears, Michael Long, and people from where my stepfather, because I've had idiots go from Tamworth. He doesn't have a stepfather. Yes, I do have a stepfather. I had people even in Sydney not knowing I had a stepfather. I'm like, I do have a stepfather. Mark Jeffrey Rackley is my mother's second husband. That's my stepfather. Daniel Rackley is Mark's son from his first marriage, who's born in South Australia. So is Belinda Rackley, Michelle Rackley, Kimberly Rackley. Daniel Rackley lived in Tamworth as well. He moved in Tamworth around 1995. My mother separated with her second husband, my stepfather, in 1994. And the group of people actually know my stepbrother, Daniel Rackley. So yes, this is all facts. And I've sent it off to the Law Enforcement Conduct Commission as well and asked to have it investigated now further as well. Because it's gone on for 9 years. I'm like, yeah, I'm not putting up with it. There was stuff to do with organisations that related to my mother's niece, Christy Childs, Christy Childs' newfound friend, Stephanie DeSalis. I've put it all into a massively detailed timeline over the last 9 years. I'm saying I'm not going to put up with it. It's that simple, you know? And outlined every single, including what I've had other diary notes that relate to. I was like, no, screw this. Even my hairdresser got involved. So then I was like, oh, okay. After I was lied about in 2015, let me check what she's been up to. Oh, Juzzy J, it's Busy B, it's Oney. On the, where is it, the 20th of May 2016, oh, she's coming over and doing this. So here's the dates. So I've kept dates monitored. Back to all that. I was doing this ever since I got lied about across social media in 2015. I was like, no, screw it. Because I turned around to everyone and said, but this is not true, ignore it. And everyone got involved. I was like, no, screw this. If you don't involve yourself in my life, I involve myself in yours. So I've made diary notes of what Belinda Jeffries was doing on what times and what days in 2016. All right? And with who and what that person's phone number is, so police and investigators can check phone records and text message records from Belinda Jeffries' phone number to Ush's number and things like this. So yeah, I did do that. And it's like, well, what else would I do? I'm turning around to some people and saying, butt out, mind your own business, it's nothing to do with you, and I don't care what some social media account says. In the real world, which we're living in, the real world is here. Here's the facts. Yeah. And so, yeah, I did that. It's been one lie after the other. And then, of course, through social media, there was photos of mine stalked on social media. And I had photos of myself and my twin sister when we were kids. Like, I was a blonde baby until I was about 4 years of age. There was photos of my second cousins and so forth, family events. So there was stuff that was stalked. And then I had other idiots from country area where my mother moved with her second husband going, oh, that's not his family. Oh, that's probably echoing for the microphone. That's not his family. His father's a nurse who works in a nursing home. And I'm like, no, my stepfather was a nurse that worked in a nursing home. My father's a builder. And what I said to Mark Kenner was the truth. So my father, Mark Fleming, built the inside of Westfield shopping complexes. Then I had people make up stories and said, oh, he's making it up. He's crazy or something. I was like, crazy? My dad, Mark Fleming, the company he worked for, built the inside of Westfield shopping complexes. Okay, you people know my stepfather, Mark Rackley. Mark Fleming, Mark Rackley, two different people. What I said was the truth. There's a place in Haymarket that he did the inside of and so forth before he retired from building. That's what Dad did. He worked for an organisation in Erina that did those jobs. And Dad also did other jobs as well in building. But that's what my dad did. And this is the problem, is because people that interfered in my life had wrong information. It was like the gathering and spreading of false information that even went through to the casino where I used to work. So here's the thing. Casino members thought, oh, they've involved themselves with Sam Delati, who knows nothing at all to do with me at all. Who's another problem person. Sam Delati has no idea, because I'm getting tagged into Sam Delati, which is insane. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Is this because of what was said in 2016? Is it the bullshit that was said in 2016 that wasn't true? Because that's ridiculous. Because it wasn't true. That's insane. So Sam Delati, I met in late 2001. I'd already been working at the casino for 6 months. And we briefly dated, although we'd separated before my pop had passed away in November 2002. So we're only together about a year. And there's nothing but false information now related to that, where people are like, oh, he copied Sam or some bullshit. So that's insane. For starters, I played soccer at Duneside Hawks when I was a kid, so soccer I've always played. My hair has always been near black. Yeah, I don't know why that shit was getting brought up in 2016. Makes no sense at all because my hair was always near black. What else? You can see photos of Stanley Fleming and Ruby Fleming, my dad's father. You know that my dad's Mark Fleming, not Mark Rackley, so two different people. So you can see with what I've said. My grandmother Lola is from Leichhardt, and grandfather Reg is from Balmain. This group of people in Sydney are just fucking losers. They are. Like, they just think they're entitled assholes. It's like, yeah, you've moved to Sydney to areas that my family already live. And then they thought we were from Tamworth. I'm like, no one heard it. Nobody in my family heard of Tamworth before 1989. My mother's second husband wanted to go there. That's why my mother ended up there. Like, seriously, you idiots have been told so many times, including Sam Delati and people I worked with at Star Casino. I was like, because where I worked at Star Casino, my mother used to show up, and it's like, yeah, she does shit like this. And it's like, yeah, but I'm not close to her. And then suddenly was all these rumors that, oh, he doesn't have a father, he's not close to his father. I'm like, bullshit. I go and see Dad all the time. Dad's at Empire Bay. Like, this is ridiculous. My mother moved with her second husband, not my father, and she moved with her and changed her lifestyle around. So we're from Sydney, but she moved from Sydney with her second husband, and well, that's what she wanted to do. But my mum's mother's from Leichhardt, my mum's father's from Balmain, my dad's father's from Botany, my dad's mother's from Abbotsford, Jemoyne. There's your facts. Dad's from Parramatta. Mum's born in Darlinghurst, which she is, but her parents were still living in Mansfield Street, Roselle, which her cousin, which is the ex-copper, which is little Brian Keegan. His father is also Brian Keegan, which is my nan Lola's brother. He still lives in the area of Leichhardt. That's Mum's cousin. And Brian and Margaret Keegan's son still lives there. Mum's, that's where Mum's side's from. Uncle Fred lived his life out there in Piper Street, Leichhardt. So did Big Nan, my great-grandmother. They're all from there. Reg's mother, Lillian, well, she died in Newtown. She was still living in Newtown when Amanda and myself was born. That's where my mum's other grandmother passed away in the early 80s. So they're all from the inner city, not from the country. And that's why I keep saying they're not from the country, they're from the inner city. No one's from the country. My mother moved to the country and she started forcing people to do what she wanted. So my mother completely changed her lifestyle and uprooted herself and then started forcing people, like her sisters. They had to do it, and that's what she does. It's like, well, I'm not close to my mother. She can drop dead tomorrow for all I fucking care. I hate her guts. We've never been close. And with the bullshit of her running away from Sydney in April 1989, she ran away from Sydney with this fucking loser that she married. There's nothing to do with us. She moved there. We're not from there. And I've had people go, oh, but I knew your family's from there. I'm like, no, they're not. They're not. They moved there. My mum moved there in April 1989. And the same thing was repetitively over and over at Star Casino, where they had something in their head and you couldn't change them. And even when I worked there, I was always saying, for example, I said once about going past Nan's place because it was sold in 1999. So I was going past Nan's place in Leichhardt, 43 Piper Street, Leichhardt. And my mum argues with this because she goes, it's Uncle Fred's. I'm like, Uncle Fred owned it. And even Uncle Fred was sat there with me when I used to go and see him in John Street in the nursing home in Leichhardt and said, because I was talking about Leichhardt, and he's like, Justin, like his sister raised her family in that house. So Uncle Fred owned it. His sister lived there with her husband and raised their family, and Uncle Fred lived in Bellevue Hill. That's the facts. So Uncle Fred, which is Leo Patrick Sayer, lived in Bellevue Hill. Was it Edgecliff Road, Bellevue Hill? These are facts that Star Casino, when I was working there, didn't even accept. They kept thinking we're from Tamworth. I'm like, yeah, but you keep... So I'm going to work and they'll be like, oh, because you're from there. I'm like, I'm not from there. But I tell you this and I'm just here to do my job. So, and that's what it was like. Sam Delati was one of the biggest ones. You know, oh look, I remember once, even back in 2001, when I brought up Nan's, or Nan's great grandmother, which is Bridget Dufresne, and you get people go, "Oh, you copied." I was like, "How am I copying?" Bridget Dufresne is my Nan's great grandmother, and she married Matthew Joseph Ryan, and they had Julia Ryan, which is Nan's grandmother, and Julia Ryan married, was it George Sayer? So it became Julia Sayer, which is my Nan's grandparents. So George Sayer and Julia Ryan, like, you're an idiot. Like, these wankers of, and so we're going back to 2001 where these idiots thought I made shit. I was making up. I was like, I'm telling you the truth, but I'll go to work and do my job and ignore what you imagine my life was and stick with the facts. And because my mother is so cunning, she manipulated things to her own advantage. So she used to turn up with the half-caste sister to do with my mother's, I can't stand her. My mother's second husband, Mark Rackley, and she had a daughter with him, Faith Rackley. Oh, the shit my mother actually just said in the last 9 years. Like, my hair. My hair's always been wavy. There's, like, I used to brush it down dead straight when I was younger. When it was cut short, it's easy to get dead straight. Like, I had it cut today. So my mother said all these bullshit over the years. It's like, yeah, but there's a photo of me in 1994, and my hair, I just come home from the beach, and you can see me in 1994 at Dad's because I've come home from the beach, and I've got sand and salt water in my hair, and it's exactly like this because there's no product. There's no product, there's no oil, there's no leave-in conditioner, there's no Brule cream weighing it down straight, because I used to put shitloads of product in my hair and weigh it down dead straight, but if I have no product in it, this is how it goes naturally. And that actually happened in the last 9 years. My mother's making up these stories. So then I put this little acting scene on in 2017, pretending to curl my hair, whatever. It's like, yeah, no, it's straight. I had it chemically straightened even for my green card photo. It's straight. Like it's not naturally it's straightened. It's naturally wavy, just like Dad Mark Fleming's was when it was longer. Yeah, it's just some weird shit going on. So this is all the rubbish that's been going on in the last 9 years. And my mother just sits back and, like, even my dad, I love my dad, Mark Fleming. We're having a chat on Saturday, and even he said, I'm sick of the bullshit your mother comes up with. I'm like, oh, you know where she gets it from? Fucking Barry Johnson. And it's like, what the hell with Barry Johnson? No, we're not even related to the Johnsons, those deadbeats. This is my dad's older sister's husband's family, who they know everything. They're fucking drunken losers. Like, seriously, my dad's older sister, Sandra's family, Sandra's husband's family. And it's like, that's where mum gets all the bullshit from. It's like, I get it from my actual family things, Carol, because the Flemings, this is what caused the argument, and the divide in the Flemings. And I know this from Nan Ruby, okay, because I still kept in touch with Ruby. Rebecca Johnson didn't. Thank you very much. Rebecca Johnson didn't speak to Nan since 1996. I still went and spoke to Nan, and Nan even said when her daughter, that's why Nan wouldn't even see her daughter dying in hospital, because Sandra was dying of cancer, and my Nana Ruby wouldn't show up because of how she was treated, okay, by Barry's family. And that's the truth. So fuck off with the bullshit. This is the thing. Family politics have been going on since before I was born, and organisations now get involved with it. So Nana even said to me, Nan Ruby, said, about when Sandra was dating Barry Johnson, they weren't happy. Stanley Fleming wasn't happy. And even Nan's brother, so Uncle George came and stayed with me in Surrey Hills. He told me more of the background and said, yeah, this is what caused the arguments in the family, was Barry Johnson's family. So Barry Johnson's family, my dad's older sister, Sandra Fleming's husband's family, and their behaviour is what caused the divide in the Flemings. And there's been a divide in the Flemings before I was born. So 2 sisters are together, 2 brothers are together, a brother and a sister, and so forth. There is cousins that have never even spoken, and it's because of this family. And they just pieces of, like, I've had it with some of their cousins on the Johnson side, and it's like there were some things going on the last 9 years, and then they popped their head up as well. I'm like, okay, I did get harassed by some born again Christian freaks, and then this one goes, oh, we're born again Christian. I'm like, figures. So yeah, going back through the Fleming side, even Nana said, it's like Nan Ruby, when I used to go and meet her for a hot lunch, In Long Beach, in Bangalow Street. So, said the same thing. Her brother, George Hill, Uncle George Hill, said the same thing to me when he came and stayed with me and Gio when we were living in Surrey Hills. Dad and Uncle George stayed with us there, and I was up all night talking with Uncle George, and he said this is what happened with the whole divide. I'm like, because I said, what happened with Kimmy and Vicky to do with Uncle Graham's children from his first marriage? And it's like, oh, well, they went here, they went there. Said, look, Justin once when your auntie, when your dad's sister started dating Barry Johnson, there was arguments in the family. Stanley wasn't happy, and that was a divide. And that's it. And there's been a divide since before you were born to do with the Fleming side. And that's why you don't know some of your cousins and some of your uncles and aunties. The divide stuck, and your dad took Auntie Sandra's side. So then you were alienated from the other side, basically. He said that's where it all happened. He said your dad stuck up for his older sister and was always with his older sister. And I'm like, oh, love Auntie Sandra, but her husband's side of the family, no. And God rest Auntie Sandra, she passed away in 2001. But so this is where all this rubbish went on as well. So there is so many divides throughout my family. And it's just part of, and that's why I said to organisations, I said, so you've gathered information from a conflict of interest where there's been lifelong family feuds on both sides of the family. Conflict of interest, family feuds, wrong information, and you didn't just get it from the source themselves. Because that makes sense to actually get the information straight from the source themselves. Anyway, I'll leave it there because that's everything well, not everything, but it's a lot of big chunk of what's gone on since 2015. And as I've said, police have been told continuously, this is going on. Your job is to charge these people who are harassing me. If I call them up and start abusing them for their harassment and so forth, this is a reaction because you're letting them get away with criminal behaviour towards me. You can't charge me for that. I've already checked this out because really, I'm reacting and my actions are justified due to the behaviour towards me that you have created because of these people. You were told in 2015, you were told in 2016, you were told in 2017, you were told in 2018. US was told when I was in America. Attorney Adler was told in Hartford, Connecticut. I came back to Sydney. Police were told continuously since I've been back in Sydney since June 2022, and you have been told. It's gone through, police standards. It's gone through it's now with the Law Enforcement Conduct Commission because you're wrong. Okay, you are wrong, and these people need to be charged criminally for it.